good people, Thermaltake. Whew, at Computex, they always show off some like really cool mods, 1,000 different products, and so there are a few new things that we're gonna check out that is different from CES, which I'm very thankful for. And huge thanks to our sponsors for making this trip possible: Thermaltake, MSI, Cooler Master, and Fantex. Without you, none of this would have been possible. So this is the new Series 300 lineup. So it's a slightly condensed version of the Series 500 TG. So still a similar design in terms of the front panel having like that beautiful ventilation, really cool lines on how this like 3D element of certain pieces interacting with each other. And always it's nice to have a mid-tower that is slightly more condensed and compact. Color-wise, we're looking at new matcha green. We have some teal. Actually, where's the teal? No teal? Oh, the teal is for the Tower 200. We'll get to that later. But matcha green, the white black, and the most interesting case probably here is the Series 300 TG Tough Edition, because motherboard vendors are introducing something new for cable management, and this is something that I would love to get your opinion on and start a conversation going about the hidden connectors. So why don't we go look inside and see what that means. So when we look inside, so here we have our standard configuration, vertical GPU support. Of course, the Series 300 will come with a standard bracket that you can rotate the GPU without additional accessories. You just have to buy the riser cable. But in terms of cabling, so we only have the 12-volt high-power cable, no 24-pin, no 8-pin, and that's because when we turn this around, we can see the concept really evolving and starting to come to shape, the hidden connectors for the motherboard that are facing the back side of the enclosure. So two challenges arise when you're dealing with this configuration. Number one is this is a micro ATX form factor for the motherboard, so we'll see if ATX would be slightly more adopted for the hidden connectors where everything is facing back, but also now we are introducing slightly wider spacing between the back side of the motherboard and the side panel, just so that we can allow for those cables to actually exit from the back and properly bend over. But the concept is brilliant, because what it lets you to do is reconfigure all your cables from the back side without needing to access the front. So number one is like, replacing the motherboard, replacing all the cables becomes so much easier. But number two is that you can actually complete like a very good clean cable management job on the back, while everything on the interior in terms of cables is totally hidden. And that's brilliant because the power supply is not really affected as long as the cables are flexible. And I'm really happy to see Thermaltake, Fractal Design, Silverstone all have those really flexible cables that are really easy to work with. But not only, the USB 3 for the front I/O, our USB-C, like the connectors for like the HD audio, additional USB accessories for the motherboard, all that is taken care of via the back, including the front I/O ports, like for your power reset and your hard drive activity LED, and even your fans. So everything is being taken care of by the cable management at the back, and that is a really cool concept. And I can't wait to actually like start working with it, because unless you build a system, you really will not know what the whole experience is like. But I feel like it's also going to introduce a lot more challenges, because if you've never done really clean cable management, it might be a little tricky, because now you're condensing all these cables. Oh, Paul?
Can you tell me where the Burt Reynolds Theater is?
It would be that way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're
Very
welcome.
kind.
You're welcome. Paul from Paul's Hardware, everybody. Love you, man. Woo. And so that's basically the concept behind the hidden connectors for the motherboard on the new Series 300 Tough Edition. The regular Series 300 is just a standard, slightly smaller mid-tower, still supports a 360 at the front, 140s at the top, all mesh type of configuration, easy to work with. Really love the matcha green color, and that's gonna be a $99 enclosure. So if you're looking for something slightly more, compact and easy to work with, I think this is going to be a very popular enclosure. But this is what I'm really excited about. But behind me are the new Tower 200. So why don't we go ahead and check it out? All right, so the Tower 200. So this is the slightly bigger version of the Tower 100. So that means that it can now support a 240 and a 280 mm radiator on the side instead of the 120, 140 on the Tower 100. They've also introduced a bunch of new colors. So the matcha green is absolutely beautiful. This military green this teal, the white black is all, you know.
It is what it is.
So this is the Tower 200. This is a micro ATX case. See, I don't cover cases, so I'm saying that it's a case. But anyways, it's available in multiple options. So basically black, white, turquoise, racing green, and matcha green. Beautiful, great things. All right.
So in terms of the Tower 200, what we're looking at here is just you know, a slightly bigger variation. Now it is a micro ATX form factor for the enclosure, which is quite interesting because not only an ITX, it feels like an ITX Thermaltake enclosure, but they're finally starting to optimize the space a little bit more, which I'm really excited about. So micro ATX form factor, we have 4 PCI slots. That means you can fit, you know, the largest graphics cards, no problem. And I think the biggest benefit for me with this redesign is the slight focus on making sure that the assembly process, the removing of the panels is all slightly easier. So for example, the glass panel at the front, it's angled, so it's being supported by the hinge at the bottom. That's nice. Everything on the side is also on push pins. The top panel no longer needs to be removed with 5 screws. It just pops off. It's toolless, and so the process of like disassembling the shell and putting all the components in there is going to be a lot easier, which I appreciate. Next up are the new SR series of radiators. So, you know, in terms of the radiator design, everything is just like standard, but the side plates are swappable, so they're secured with screws. You can pop them off. They're gonna sell different accessories in terms of color. So maybe you can, you know, rotate this thing so that the Thermaltake logo is facing the right way. And also you can repaint them yourself, do a little bit of modding, and you know, Thermaltake is known in the DIY water cooling community, so having just slightly more variability in what you can do with the products and radiators, especially for the radiator bracket, for example, which are the mounting screws. And we also have the new SF fittings. So if you're into the water cooling space, these look really high quality, matte white, or like the glossy white and matte black. So these look absolutely cool. In terms of like the actual specs of the fittings, they feel really high quality. They have the bottom, so you know exactly how low the tube is, and just some new design idea for these fittings for Thermaltake in the DIY space. Just a little something that follows in the footsteps of trying to give you different design direction and a little something different for your next water cooling system. And here we also have the Series 500. So the Series 500 already exists, but this is the hidden motherboard, tough edition again, with an ATX motherboard now, with all the connectors facing the back. And again, this is just such a cool concept. I can't wait to actually get a motherboard, start building a system in something that with all the connectors facing the back for that really clean, super aesthetic. I feel like as long as you have enough clearance in the back of the motherboard tray for all your cables and enough channels, enough Velcros, everything kind of straightforward, and flexible cables from the power supply, this is going to be a really popular approach to doing cable management that is clean, easy to do, both from the back and the front, of course. But yeah, let me know of the hidden motherboard. There's still no name for this type of cable management approach, which I find quite strange. And if we look on the interior, this is just another example of just how clean a system can run. This is with the GPU powered, with the motherboard powered, 8-pin, everything is like connected into here, and it just looks like a standard motherboard. And man, I can't wait to build this. Let me know what you think of this concept. I'm Dimitri, thanks to our sponsors, you know, for making this trip possible. And I'll talk to you in the next video.